Hey and welcome to Neverwinter Dev. So Cryptic Studios just finished up on a stream, just a Q&A with Brett Norton, the executive producer. So he's essentially is the boss of the game right now and leads the direction it's heading in. So I'd like to quickly go over just a whole bunch of points that they went through to summarize essentially all of the questions and answers they had within the stream. Now I'm just going to leave the stream here as the background video. I apologize, I can't really add any other footage as my internet's just so terrible that it will end up uploading for like 3 hours before if I add some footage of me running Tiamat or something, which I'd really like to do. So first things first, to ask why was Tom getting buffed? Essentially they just wanted to increase the rewards and as a result increase the difficulty. It's supposed to be a challenge for the end game players and it was just getting power creeped by item level. Is there any plans for Tower Mad Mage in RTQ? No future plans, but it's on their wish list. Is there going to be a blog for the future battle pass? Yes, this Friday there should be one and I'll cover in a video, and the rewards apparently are going to be somewhat of a pandemonium. Someone asks, when is demo coming back? Yeah, soon. It's still in play test and they want the normal version not to be like what happened with Tiamat. They want to make it to be sure that it's easy enough to play through. Probably won't come out until November. Someone asked about crossplay. No plans. Someone asked for a roadmap, and yes, it's work in progress. Big news, legacy characters. There is indeed an update which is becoming very shortly that will erase a lot of the old data from those legacy characters and should potentially fix all of those potential feats and buffs that those characters could obtain to gain an advantage. So over the next few weeks, within this month of August, legacy characters should be no more. Someone asked, when will they fix the scroll bug? When tanks are blocking and they die, they can't use a scroll to revive themselves. Well, the devs can't actively reproduce this. I've never encountered the bug myself. I guess they'll keep an eye out on it. Someone asked, how's the wizard rework going? And yes, it's in progress. The active developer, I believe Robert, actually reached out to a bunch of people, myself included, asking who would I be able to refer to him as people who are good at playing the wizard in like endgame, to get their feedback on how the wizard feels right now, and otherwise moving on to the bug squashing phase, but not coming out this August any update to the wizard. Someone asked about a multi-class system. Yeah, they like the idea, but not going to promise anything. They say it's more complex than just adding a single class. Someone asked about Strongholds. Why just Dragonflight? Mainly it was just a thematic thing. Essentially, Module 23, we got new dragons. May as well go and update the other dragons in the game. That was about it. Otherwise, somebody asked about making campaigns like Sharandar into legacy campaigns, and they say, yeah, they generally will do that over time. They don't want such a backlog of campaigns. When we look in game right now in our journal, we have a bunch here. Right now, we just have Dragon Slayer, Path of the Fallen, Sharandar, and Dragonbone Vale. Potentially, if they add another campaign, one of these will get pushed to Legacy. And then from Legacy, they might go out over to Adventure. Essentially, they don't want so much content that is there to take so much time. Like generally, these campaigns which are not Legacy can take twice as long because you can't use, let's say, genie gifts or ×2 events to quickly speed through them. Like right now we have ×2 Storm King's Thunder. Otherwise, somebody asked about a trade bar store update, and there's no short-term plans, but yes, they have future plans down the road, long-term, that they will add like a few things, remove things, etc. Another big news is the Displacer Beast Whiskers. So expensive for Mastercrafting right now, and yes, they have confirmed it, and over the next few weeks, they will increase the drop rates of those Displacer Beast Whiskers. Whether that's just going to be from our dungeon, the Vault of Stars, or will they drop within Sharandar? We don't know yet. We'll wait. Upcoming news on that. I'll be sure to cover it. And that'll be in less than a month. That's pretty massive news. Don't go Mastercrafting now buying Displacer Beast Whiskers because their price will plummet as soon as that update comes. So don't go buying, let's say, your risk guards with that crit severity that I use on my rogue just yet. Next news, Black Dragon visuals in general on those ancient dragons. They are aware that you get some disappearing bugs and that can happen. Just look up and down and that'll fix it. Otherwise, when they have time, they'll go back and fix those. Somebody asked about the boon points. We have too many and not much use anymore for them. And they said, yes, there are plans down the road to add extra usefulness for boon points. Someone asked about updating strongholds like the merchants, gear, and etc. And yes, they said they would like to add more influence, sinks, and uses for influence in general. Somebody asked about augment companions, and in my opinion, they're just a little bit ignorant of the end game right now, but that's okay. Not everybody's aware. And somebody was saying, yeah, that augment companions are useless, as I plan to update them, make them better. And actually, the developer, pretty keyed in, said augments are useful. And indeed they are. They actually have quite a good balance right now. In some content, some striker companions can do better than an augment. In other content, augments can do better. And overall, it can also depend on what class you are. My opinion, they're in a pretty good balanced state right now. You can use an augment or you could use a striker and do pretty well. Then he went and answered the question of the Band of Air. Somebody was just poking them for an update on it. When are they gonna nerf it, basically? And they said they're gonna make quite a substantial change to it, along with the Band of Darkness or the Ring of Darkness. And I really hope they make the set actually better than just running 2 other rings. That could be great because the grind is massive and well worth it if they're actually useful rings. They don't want to make the Band of Air like so overpowered. It should still be slightly better than, let's say, slotting in the Red Eyes Glare for extra stats. And so it should still be best in slot, and they do want to change and adjust the drop rates so that it'll be easier in Vault of Stars to obtain. And this coming out sometime next month. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see what happens. And then just some more additional information. Next module will be before the end of this year. And this next update, like we see on Dragonflight, is not like a module. It's just a small update. Somebody asked about decreasing the grind for Masterworks, and they said, no, overall, in general, it's supposed to be a big, long grind and a big investment. Somebody asked about any plans for when the movie comes out. Confirm on the Druid class, and they will not confirm or deny that the Druid class is coming to Neverwinter. Otherwise, somebody asked about when are we getting Reaper reward changes, and they said yes, they would like to add new rewards, but as of now, you can still spend them on the shards. It's not like there's many players at all who have all the shards they need with those mythic collars. Otherwise, somebody asked about adding new instruments for the Bard, and they said basically all the classes are in the same boat, right? Most classes only can use one type of weapon, and that's it. Sure, you can have different visuals, you could have different sounds for different instruments on the Bard, and it would be great, but currently they don't have the time to create the animations for them, etc, etc. Somebody asked about older fashion items, and yes, they're looking at ways where they can introduce more of the fashion from Neverwinter back in the day, some of the well-remembered stuff. Somebody asked about updating older artifacts, and generally they'll just make newer ones, they said, like they just did with the Dragonbone blades, which was a duplicate of the Wyvern knives, just a little bit updated. My opinion, it's fine as long as they make them stack together. Somebody asked about the Loam Weave enchantment having an illusion, and no confirmation on it, but they are working on new combat enchantments and illusions down the line. Somebody asked about the Nox box returning, and they said maybe, but only for special occasions. Somebody asked about exclusive rewards, and he basically went over pretty much like I did. Neverwinter never makes any promise that they won't re-release anything. If they have done in the past, be sure to go and correct them on it, and they'll look into it. They do plan on re-releasing a lot of things, like they're doing with that Zariel companion. Somebody asked about reworking older content, plans to release older skirmishes, and they said, yeah, occasionally they'll rework older content. They want to take a break from it for a bit, like they did with the Tyranny of Dragons campaign. Otherwise, unless there's a real need to bring back an old skirmish, they probably prefer to just make a new one. They do like some of the CTA skirmishes, and Tales of Old was just a bit of a mess in terms of balance, and they don't really want to add events back like that, where it was a bit hardcore and you could end up taking an hour plus to complete it, and if then you might even fail and have wasted an entire hour. They don't really want events to take away from the core playing of Neverwinter. Personally, I really like Tales of Old, and I really like the system it had with it. and I personally would like to see it coming back. I don't know why the devs are against it, but I can see why. Otherwise, yeah, someone asked about horizontal and vertical progression, the difference. Vertical is just upgrading stuff, and horizontal is just adding new options. Someone asked about any new journal books to be added, and there's no current plans. Somebody asked about existing drops for the diamond shards, you know, the ones you'd get from Sharandar. The drop rate's really low and all that. It's garbage. Anyway, they said yes, they will overall with Sharandar increase drop rates, like from bounties, from the shattered diamonds, and then in Vault of Stars, hardcore, mini bosses. That will all come ideally in one update, they said. And that was pretty much the end of the stream, and he just wanted to add in again that they'll make some adjustments to the Ancient Black Dragon, maybe make it a bit more balanced, because on their data, he's definitely one of the guys who's been killing the most people. And otherwise, they want to make more updates to Tiamat so that when it's in RTQ, that it goes nice and smoothly. Yes, they took it out again. I hadn't actually noticed that. But more updates will come to that over the following month. And that's about it. That's the entirety of the stream, and hopefully it was somewhat insightful, and that this was a lot shorter than just watching the entire stream. But the important takeaways are, yes, legacy characters will be getting removed very shortly within the next few weeks. The Displacer Beast Whiskers, the drop rates will be drastically increased, so masterwork gear related to that should drop down in price massively, and so don't go buying anything just yet. And otherwise, the Band of Air will be getting a pretty big rework to how it functions, but not for maybe another month or so. Along with that, we'll be getting increased drops to Vault of Stars and Sharandar. So again, I'd like to give a massive thank you to all of these channel members for the continued support. And if I presented this well, consider leaving the video a like, and if you're new around here, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.